Hello, welcome to Coffee and Conversation on this Saturday morning. This will be our regular time that we'll be going over some of the events and things that mean something to women here in our Ocean View community and beyond. We again want to say welcome, and we hope all of you are doing well on this April Fool's Day. Uh, we will be focusing a little bit on her story this beautiful rainy day as we bring in those April showers. We hope to give you some information that you can take with you to fill up your cup for the week. If you had not had an opportunity and gone to neurotahouse.org, our primary website that houses both the folk school and the women's red tent, we'd like you to check out the Hive, especially if you're a woman in business and you're a woman in business that's trying to bring your craft and your art out to the world. I can tell you from a personal perspective, there isn't anything scarier than bringing your heart passion out and putting it before the rest of the world. Especially because we've learned, especially through spiritual and psychological work, that our businesses represent a spiritual baby for us, just like our own babies. They represent everything that we put our energy into. For many people, our businesses are our passions, but they're also our life's mission. So we know those things can be scary, they can be overwhelming, and business isn't necessarily designed to be a space for women to remain in their heart. And that's something that we're trying to change here with the Hive. If you have not checked out this last week's blog article, we would ask you to go in and do that. It has some tremendous ideas on conscious business and what that looks like in this upcoming century as we try to move more into feminine models, healthy feminine models. And I'd like you to check that out. Also, check out the article on Jacqueline Ann May, who is a local artist and maker in our area. Just beautiful work and beautiful books. Tremendous woman, tremendous woman, and I would really like you to get the opportunity to get to know her art as well. And coming up this Wednesday in the Hive, we will be focusing on one of our local yoga teachers, but also a medicine woman. And I really say that with a great deal of honor because I understand what that path entails. I know that is very difficult, especially in the world, to bring forward spiritual work. And Sheena will be, Sheena Stellaria, many of you know her already through the yoga, will be doing two beautiful yoga workshops coming up on the 7th and the 14th, and we'll go over that in just a moment. And the beauty of writing things down is, should you make a mistake, which I did on the date for the last yoga, you will always be reminded. So on the 5th of April comes up her next event, which will be her yoga on the beach, which I thoroughly enjoy, coming from a rural background in having nature surround me pretty much everywhere that I was. Sometimes living in the city is hard, and getting out on the beach is something that I enjoy tremendously, especially with others. And this one is lovely because it's open to children. It's open so women don't have to worry about having to find care, which is a huge issue right now amongst our group. We are really looking to figure out how to create more community circles around care for our kids. I have heard this from numerous mothers looking for babysitters, looking for quality care. And so that is another issue that we'll be looking up in a future video. So hang out for that. And on the 7th in Virginia Beach, she is also presenting the astrological yoga and herbal workshop. And again on the 16th at Ocean View and OV Yoga. So please go ahead and check that out and bring a friend. Because when we support each other and when we assist each other in our life's work, we all flourish. And also coming up this month, something as we step out of Women's History Month, which is really hard for me. I really like to say the word her story. And this is a word that we are trying to shift, because for so long our stories of women have been lost because most of our traditions were oral and they were passed down from great grandmother to mother and then to daughter. And those were told often around circular structures. And right now we are not in a circular structure. The world is very much in an arc with a pinnacle, someone on top, and kind of all the rest of us at some layer along that. And that is not necessarily a healthy model. And so we really urge you to consider coming into Red Tent this month. Our next meetup will be April 23rd, 2023. It'll be focused on Gaia. It's an Earth Day weekend launch, so we will be doing some work around Mother Earth. I'd really like this to be more open ceremony. We're also going to be talking about lodge care and lodge quality of care. You know, when you're entering a lodge is something that's very sacred. Taking off the shoes, setting your heart to be present and in the moment, and putting away agendas, bringing electronics, all of those types of things, they do detract from the lodge quality when you're there. Because the whole idea when you come into Red Tent is to shed the outside world so you can get into that inner world. You're stepping kind of into that womb-like space. And the picture that you see here is from our lodge. It was a blessing that we did to kind of honor that. There's this beautiful tree in the very back of the Red Tent Lodge space, and it reminds me very much of the tree of life. We've got to sink our roots in monthly, and that means we have to let go of what all the other stresses are and leave them at the door and come into that space ready to repatriate and rest, and to also be present, because there's a lot of deeper intuitive work that happens at lodge. And in order for facilitators to be able to be in that space, we have to hold the space. And we're going to talk about the importance of care for each other and responsibility. So I'm going to ask for next lodge that you bring something for cleanup, because I would like to go down to the beach and do a little bit of cleanup, maybe potentially on Saturday, maybe ahead of the 23rd, maybe on the 22nd, we can do a small meetup. I know it's very spontaneous, but we can do some cleanup on the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, I would like us just to be prepared to care for ourselves. Bring a sack lunch. I'm going to ask you to bring a sack lunch that day. I'm going to ask you to bring the food that you need for yourself. And I'm going to ask those that have cooked for others to just think about caring for yourself. Because we've learned some things. We've learned some things over the last few times, that it is hard for us to let go of that care. We are designed, I believe it is, just internally to be caretakers for each other. But when we're tired and our cups are empty, what that builds up in us is resentment. And there can't be love when there's resentment. So everybody care for themselves next week. Next meetup, remember to bring a sack lunch. Remember to bring all the comfort items that you need. And I'm going to encourage all the mothers in our group to figure out how you're going to care for your children. Create a collaborative. Start to begin to talk to each other. It is up to you to seek out that quality care. Start to make babysitting lists. Start sharing those babysitting lists. Start figuring out if there's a mother or somebody within the group. If I had the building right now, I guarantee you the daycare would be open. But that's going to take time, and that's going to require a lot of work to get from the dream and the vision to getting to the physicality of having that big open space. So remember, one day of your month for you is the minimum that you can do. And in yogic tradition, when you cannot take care of yourself, or you take time from your self needs, that's called ashtaya, which is like self-stealing. So we don't want to do that. And so this is my big talk. So we look forward to seeing you on April 23rd for rest and repatriation, and on the 22nd, potentially those that would like to walk down to the beach close to the lodge. We'll try to figure out a time for when we would meet to do maybe a little bit of beach cleanup, and getting out in the physical world might allow us to rest a little bit more on Sunday. And coming up next, we'll talk about the importance of soil. So remember I said that we were going to be talking about soil. I have found that this last March and the beginning of this April have been very difficult. I would have to say emotionally the earth has a lot of fodder right now to deal with and turn into beautiful soil. And that is the way of it. Every flower that ever bloomed went through a lot of dirt to get there. I love this saying, and I love this beautiful, beautiful image, because that's what we are. We are these flowers, and we're flowering right now, and we are going through the dirt to get there. Many, many of us, and we are not alone, because there isn't a woman that I've talked to in Lodge that isn't going through something right now. So keep each other in your thoughts. Connect with each other. Create circle. And allow people sovereignty within that place in their circle. Because everybody has a path, and it's theirs. And that's the specialty of plants. We bloom in our own versions, in our own colors. And so I highly suggest, if you're having a struggle this time, to get in and get into the earth, to do some earthing, bare feet to ground. You will not understand until you do that how much that helps you reset the codes that are already in your body. And we've got a lot of influx coming in from the world right now. There's a lot of dramatic things happening. And so we have to do our part to stay grounded, because there isn't a woman in Red Tent that I don't know that has some of the most powerful gifts I've ever seen of change and creation. So take care of you, and we'll all take care of each other. And before we close, and drink the last bit of our coffee today as we have our conversation, I would like to ask you to consider subscribing. Your subscriptions will help us to build a larger impact across our community, as well as to bolster the potentiality to help us to become fully solvent, to be able to continue to meet the needs of women within our community by helping them out with scholarships, by helping to pay for writing of the curriculum. Because if you do not know, I spend a lot of time behind the computer doing recording and creating the curriculum that we see within our Neurotica House page. One of my favorites recently is the Breaking the Duality mold. If you haven't checked it out, it is absolutely free. So get in there and get that and take a look at it, because I think there's some things that you might find interesting. Also coming up this weekend on Sunday is a group called Culture and Consciousness, and it's ran by a woman in our group called Loreli, Drache, and I'm hoping that she will post that within the Red Tent this weekend. I will be speaking and doing a small meditation and some song. So come join us. It's from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check out that event locally, and I will post it as well, so you can find that later on today. Look forward to seeing you again. It was lovely to spend time with you this morning. Be kind to each other, be uplifting to each other, And remember, everybody's path is their own. So check us out for more information at niranahouse.org and niranahouse.org/women's studies. Find all the things that you will need for your family and yourself, and we will see you again next week.